Well, welcome to 100% LCFC. Sorry we're 20 minutes late. We are trying out lots of new technology. We're trying to make this an even better what we offer you guys for content. So I'm Phil, this is 100% LCFC. This is a new thing we're going to try every Monday night around 8:30 or more like 9 o'clock tonight. Fanzone, we're calling it. We want people to put their comments below if you're watching on Facebook. Some people should be watching on the website as well. And we invite everybody to come in. You don't want to hear what I say, you want to hear what you lot say. So if people want to try and contact us, let me know. You can Skype us, come in. I've got a couple of people who have Skyped in already. That's Tom and James. So we're going to chat very quickly to them. There's loads and loads of things to talk about. We've got a few goodies to give away as ever, so people can put the things in there. I'm just checking that the stream is working and that we've actually got sound. So if we haven't got sound, do let me know. But I'm going to go straight over and introduce James, and there we are. Tom, hello chaps, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Evening, Phil.
Hello guys. They've been very kindly holding on there. I think everybody can hear us. If somebody can put in the comments you can hear us, that's great. I've got a little list of things for us to talk about, James and Tom. It's James at the top, Tom at the bottom. We can start with transfer rumours, chaps. What's the latest? What have you heard? Before I let you know what I've heard.
Latest today, obviously Gray's gone to speak to the board and the manager. I'm not sure what it's about. For me, he just needs a bit more game time, needs to be a bit more patient before he starts talking to the board.
Yeah, I mean, Tom, I read that about 5 minutes before we came in here, that was all over the internet that Demarai Gray has been in to see. Apparently, it's all rumours, you don't really know, I think, but you just think it's not the sort of thing we want to hear, is it, before we're about to come on here and chat, Tom?
It's not, but we've seen with Demarai that he's got a little bit of an attitude problem probably in some ways, and that's just him wanting to play football, I think, more than anything. But it's not what you want to hear. You know, if you're going to be part of the squad, you're going to understand that you're not going to play every week. And at the moment, there is players who are probably higher in the pecking order, if he likes it or not, who are going to start in front of him. I mean, if you look at his performance in pre-season, he's played one game, and if I was honest here, I think Tom Lawrence outshone him by a mile and had probably one of the best games. I mean, it was against MK Dons, and fans are going to say against the low league teams he's performed better, Tom Lawrence, but I didn't see that spark from Gray, what he had in his England under-21 shirt at the Euros.
Right, before we go too much further, I'm going to read out some shout-outs. We've got loads of people comments. We want you to put down in the comments what you think. Don Cole has said he can hear us loud and clear and says hello. Mike Jenner says hi, mate. Ash Henton says, Gray, what do we all reckon? Well, we've already started talking about that. Let us know what you think, Ash, about Demarai Gray. Lucy Knight's watching. Hi, Lucy. Steve Coles is watching. Terry Payne says hello. Scott Wright says Gray wants to go and we should let him because he's not that much good. Which, Tom, you were just saying that, James. Would you sell Demarai? Crikey, if Liverpool or Spurs came in 20-odd million for Demarai Gray, would you sell him, James?
No, personally. Okay. I think he's got a great future ahead of him. He just needs to bide his time. For me, his finishing's not 100% great, and that'll come with time on the pitch. He just needs to wait his time. As Tom said, he's down the pecking order, but he just needs to put his head down and work at it.
Mike Jenner says here, Gray has got loads of potential and needs some game time. If and when Mahrez, which that's going to be the next thing we talk about, so get your Mahrez comments in here, but Mike Jenner says, if and when Mahrez goes, he's got to step up. Well, Tom, Mahrez, Roma haven't put in a £34 million or euro bid. He was at a medical at Roma, no he's not, he's at Beaver Drive. What's your latest thoughts on Riyad Mahrez?
Riyad Mahrez. I mean, I got slated after being on BBC Radio Leicester the other week for basically saying that we should let him go if he doesn't want to be at the club. My opinion is, if you don't want to be here, go. You know, you can be, as I said on the radio, he's the best players in the world, but if they don't want to be at my football club and play for my badge, then go and play somewhere else. As long as we get the right money for him, then, you know, happy days. And let's put that back into the squad. We've got potential there in Gray and Lawrence. And beyond you, if Mahrez goes, let Gray and Lawrence fight it out for that left-hand side. Push Albrighton back onto the right where you can cross the ball without him to cut inside.
Yeah.
And let's not upset the balance of the team too much. But if we get the right money, go and invest in the right players.
So, Tom, James, before we come to you, I want everybody to put your comments in. What are your thoughts on Riyad Mahrez? Would you sell him? What's the lowest amount you would take for him? James, I'm going to ask you that in a minute. What's the lowest amount you would take for him? He did come out with that big statement. Is it time, everybody, for Riyad Mahrez to go? What's going on? So put in the comments there. Let us know. So we're going to come back over to James. What's the lowest you would take for Riyad Mahrez?
50 million, as the club have already said. I won't budge from that amount. He's worth every penny. He's the one creative game changer that we have. I don't think his head's in the right place, but it has been in the right place. If the management team can get his head in the right place, I think he can be great again.
A few comments from people watching. Hi, Curtis Holloway, no relation, is watching. He says, we're in a good situation here. We've got 2 good young wingers that need game time, and we need to give them that, or else they'll be off to prove themselves at other clubs. Jamie Preston is watching, our fellow guy from the 100% LCFC content team, our far-flung fox, who yesterday got enough viewers that he jumped in the pool, but unfortunately forgot to post the video, which was quite funny. So we'll have to get him in there next week. Scott Wright says he'd take 30 million for Mahrez. Terry Payne says sell Mahrez to a non-Premier League team. I think that's an interesting one. Don Cole says Albrighton is the most highly unrated player, which he is, but there's no rumours with Albrighton going. Matt Lucas says sell Mahrez for 35 million and keep Gray. Dale Rusnick says, let's be honest, we ain't going to get 50 million for him, so 30 million is better than now. Would you take, I mean, it's fair. Dale has got a point. Dale's saying, you know, are we going to... Arsene Wenger, interestingly, came out and said maybe this transfer pricing is a bubble and it's going to burst at some point. It just seems like some astronomical prices. Sigurdsson, next chat on our list. What's going on? Sorry, we've got somebody dialing in, which is nice. That's Dipak. I don't know how. Hello, Dipak.
Hi, Phil. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't see you, Dipak. So while we're waiting to get your picture in, I'm just going to fill in. Tom and James, can you still hear us? Don't know if we lost the other guys with Dipak coming in. So Dipak, if you can turn your camera on, that'd be great. In the meantime, I'm going to read out some fans' comments. Simon Titchener's watching from Orlando. He says, let Mahrez go for 34 million. We've made a huge profit. Spend it wisely. Jim Chapman's watching and John Squires is watching. Hi to you two. Get your comments in. While I'm just going to sort out the Skype details, I've got this rather nice. I know it's a basketball and not football, but it is signed. Hopefully you can see that. Signed by the Leicester Riders basketball team. The treble winners from last season. So if you want to win that, just watch this little video, and while I get the Skype things back on.
Well, we've got this basketball signed by the Leicester Riders, the 2017 BBL champions, triple winning champions. All you have to do to win this is guess how many of these basketballs we're going to be putting into the bank of an ADT taxi. So it's a pretty straightforward competition, and
I can hear you, Tom. Just
basketball signed by the Riders.
You're back in after this video, which people can hear us talking. All you're going to do is guess how many basketballs there are in the back of that ADT taxi. You can win the signed basketball. Put in the comments what it is. That was a nice little filler while we were waiting to get the guys back on. Dipak Skyped in, and all the technical stuff went wrong. So people are watching this little video and they're listening to me yabba yabba in the background. Get your comments in, let us know what your thoughts are. The next thing we're going to talk about is Sigurdsson, an 18-year-old defender called Malang Sarr from Nice, and we've got lots more to talk about with Ujella. So I'm going to come back in. It's back to me. Don't forget, if you want to put in the comments how many basketballs you thought were in the back of that ADT taxi. Yes, I'm plugging them. Yes, they give us a bit of money to buy more equipment and keep doing better stuff. I'm going to have to turn Dipak off there. Apologies, Dipak, maybe next time. Back with the guys. Tom, sorry about that. Sigurdsson, what's your latest thoughts on Sigurdsson?
Well, firstly, I'll just say Riyad Mahrez, if we get anywhere from 35 to 40 million, take the money and run. Because we're not going to get 50 million for him this season. After these poor performances last season, his value has dropped down.
But Swansea want 50 million, Tom. They're stuck in. They're saying we don't need to sell.
I mean, Reece Sigurdsson, for me, he's not worth 50 million.
No, I would agree.
I don't think any. I think the transfer market's gone absolutely ludicrous. Kyle Walker's never a £50 million player as a right back because he can't defend. All he can do is run forward really quickly. But Reece Sigurdsson, I mean, yes, he scored goals and yes, he sets them up. But for 50 million, I mean, I have to rethink about that. I mean, I can't see Leicester City Football Club paying 50 million. For winning stuff, we've got that. The club are going to be sensible, and I can't see them bidding £50 million for one player yet.
James, what do you think? Sigurdsson, 50 million? Mahrez, 50 million? Has it all gone mental?
Completely, as Tom said, Kyle Walker, 50 million. They bought another fullback for another 50 million. It's all this TV money sending it a bit crazy. Sigurdsson, 50 million, is he worth it? Probably not, but it brings other things with it. If he comes for 50 million, he then wants 150 grand a week. And we have to change our price structure for wages. And it could, the dressing room could go to pot then.
Mike Jenner comes in. Hi, Mike. Thanks for watching. Going to read out a few comments here. Mike Jenner says, Kyle Walker is only worth 15 to 20 million pounds tops. Mike, you're probably right, but he's been sold for 55. Lee Clark says, got to pay, I'm afraid, whether we like it or not. And that brings me back. If Kyle Walker is worth 55 million, well, that's what he's gone for. You know, Swansea want 50 million for Sigurdsson. With all the money that's coming in, they don't need to sell. Tom Sykes, hi Tom, thanks for watching. Tom says, without the creativity Mahrez offers, we're in deep, deep trouble. Demarai Gray doesn't have a final product, and I've got to agree a little bit there with Tom Sykes, because there's many times where I've seen Demarai Gray make the wrong choice at the wrong time with crossing his ball in. Neil Tester, hi, thanks for watching. Not quite sure what you mean there. Don Cole's agreeing with you, Tom, saying well done. Joanne Astley, hi Joanne, thanks for watching, says Mahrez wants to go. Let's not hinder him moving on, but at least get 35 to 40 million. So that's what Joanna's saying. If it takes all season for a club to come in and him for it to agree, then that's fine, as long as he plays his best for us. Guys, Tom and James, Mahrez has looked pretty decent, hasn't he, in pre-season?
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to go into pre-season, yes, he has done well against West Brom. He scored a nice goal against there, and he did well against Liverpool in the first half. I mean, at the weekend, though, I didn't hear anyone mention Riyad Mahrez against Wolves. It was another off day again. So are we going to see which Riyad Mahrez is going to turn up for this season? The Riyad that walked the league and was probably the most creative person in the league, won PFA Player of the Year. Or are we going to see Riyad Mahrez, who was sitting on the beach for most of last season and didn't create half the opportunities we were looking for? Don't get me wrong, teams worked to that last season and dropped deeper and Vardy couldn't find the space. But for me, Mahrez had to do more than he was doing last year. And that's not all about taking men on. That's making the sensible passes when he's got three men on him. He doesn't have to take every single man on. He has to be more clever with the ball and just look up for the free man. Because obviously if there's 3-on-1, there's two men who are free on that pitch somewhere, and he's got to be more clever. OK, James, before we come back to you, a few more comments. Dale Reynolds, hi Dale, thanks for watching, says Mahrez 31 million is too cheap. Neil Tester, hi Neil, has come back and said, if Mahrez goes, then Sigurdsson is a must, as we won't have any creativity. Gray isn't the player that I've built him up to be. Bad decision-making in key areas. Mike Jenner is saying Mahrez won PFA Player of the Year only 2 years ago, so keep the price, and if he doesn't go, wait till January and then see what happens. Ash Henton, hi Ash, has come back and said he'd take 50 million. And he can't get a decent City shirt without it ripping or badges falling off. Perhaps we'll talk about shirts. Do you want to talk about shirts in a minute, guys? Mike Jenner says the money will go up if we hold out. So does Aubrey Vaughan. If everybody, by the way, watching could like and share this video, that'd be great. It keeps spreading the word. We're going to be here every Monday at 8:30-ish, barring technical issues. Hi, Tom Eaton's watching. Beanie Hunt's watching. Martin Lewitt says, what is the point of all this extra money coming into the Premier League? This is a great, great point. I'm going to come to you, James, on this. Martin Lewitt says, what is the point of all this extra money coming into the Premier League if it's going to get spent on inflated transfer prices and inflated wages, which put wages up across the squad? The club is not benefiting from the extra money. James, the price
is going mental. We've just discussed that. But here's my question to you, and Tom, you can come on to this. I think I'm right in saying Leicester City, like most Premier League sides next year, are going to earn £170 million ish for being just in that league for that season. So how come with like 12 days to go, we've spent just under 30 million of that? James?
Not sure. It's probably down to the transfer policy. Yes, we've got 2 great buys in, but we've not really seen many bids go in. And there's also the Iheanacho saga, which seems to not be going away.
Are we going to go there tonight? We're going to talk Iheanacho. We're going to have to, aren't we?
Have we got long enough?
Mind you, I haven't paid any rights to even mention his name. So we've got 16 agents to get that deal done with before we can mention his name, haven't we? Tom, it's never really been off. Pep Guardiola said it'll be a Leicester player within 10 days. That was 10 days ago. Pep Guardiola, I think today, said, well, if he's not a Leicester player, we'll have him here. We don't mind. Craig Shakespeare, and this is what he's reportedly said today in a media report. He said he's frustrated by the transfer window, Tom.
I think
frustrated. He should be signing somebody, shouldn't he?
I don't think he's the only one frustrated by the transfer window. I think a lot of the clubs in the Premier League are frustrated by the transfer window because of the inflation of prices this year. And, we've gone out, we've signed a half-decent backup goalkeeper. I think we've signed a great centre-half in Maguire, who will learn his trade at Leicester. For me, will go on and captain England. I rate him that highly.
Really?
He's going to make mistakes. Yeah, I do. I've seen him play enough times now, I thought, against us or when he was playing at his other teams. There's something about him. He's comfortable with the ball at his feet. I know he's going to make a few mistakes. He's a young kid who wants to try and play from the back, and players who are going to do that are always going to make mistakes. And then we've gone and signed a Bora, for me, what I've seen so far.
I think he looks great.
Midfield general. He's going to run the show for Leicester City. And the likes of Drinkwater and Diddy will either play with him in a 3, or I think you could see Drinkwater maybe drop out this year. But going back to the actual transfer window, it's frustrating, but I think Leicester aren't going to be mugged off with signing players for inflation prices.
Mugged off? You've been watching too much Love Island. James, Love Island, shall we? No, let's not talk. Let's talk about... have you heard this one about the defender? An 18-year-old defender from Nice, Malang Sarr. Would you pay 20 million for an 18-year-old defender who's played 31 games in the French League 1? James?
No, I personally think it's inflated because all the top clubs are after him.
Yeah, rumoured to be, yeah.
Yeah, it could be another one we put in the development squad, pay a fortune for them, stick them in the development squad, and it doesn't really come out of it.
But we've done that over the years, haven't we? We've sort of got Tom Lawrence, Harvey Barnes. We've got lots of good-looking youngsters, but it's whether you dare put them in there. A couple of names I'm going to shout out to you, which I think is a bit potty, but Ross Barkley, a quick one on that. Tom?
Not for me.
James?
No, not for me. He's not the finished product yet.
Who, Ross Barkley?
Yeah.
Well, I think he's pretty decent, isn't he, Tom? I just can't imagine he'd come to Leicester.
I think you'd have the same problems you got with Riyad Mahrez, that he's got to work. I think Neil Warnock came out and said the other week that those type of players, you've got to fit into the team how you want to play football. And if they don't fit in, they don't make your team.
Okay.
I don't see where it'd fit in.
A few comments from people. Thank you. Please keep putting your comments in. I'll keep reading as many as I can. Let us know what you think. Lee Clark says, Smalling, would you take him? I hear he's only going for 10 million. Jason Owen says, no, not to Barkley. Tom Sykes says, Sarr is a top quality defender with huge potential. Teams such as Barca and Chelsea are after him. He would start ahead of Morgan. That's absolutely fine, Tom. I disagree with you. I don't think he would start ahead of Wes Morgan, the club captain. Joe Astley says, I think Slimani will come good. He's good in the air. He's lethal from 4 yards. I've been saying that all season. He's good in the air. As you said before, he knows where to wait to bang the ball in. Guarantee his goals with headers. Give him a chance. I think you're right. I think Slimani is lethal in the air. I know. I'll come back to you, Tom, on Slimani in a minute because I think you're a big fan of his. I've still got my doubts. I think he's a, I don't personally rate him much higher than Steve Howard, but I like Steve Howard back in the day. But you've got to put the ball into him, Tom.
I mean, this is the thing about it. We were talking before we came on air about formations. Do you go to a standard 4-4-2 and we get the ball wide and get it in the box? Let's not muck around with this silly build-up play we're trying at the moment. let's just get the ball down, get it wide and get it in the box. And if we're going to do that, get the quality into the box. So let's not muck around with Albrighton on the left and Mahrez on the right. You put Albrighton on the right and just get the ball into the box first time. And we've seen it against West Ham last season. We get the ball in early and Slimani is very dangerous in the air. But what I've seen so far in pre-season, he actually has done more with his work rate. He's linking up better. But I've always said there's something about Islam Slimani that he can come good. It didn't help that we signed him when he was injured. That was the biggest mistake the club made, is sign a player who was crocked. And if he can get fit, unlucky he got a cut on his leg at the weekend, he looks fitter than he had been since he's been at the club, then I think you'll see the best of Islam Slimani next season. But he needs the right service, and we proved it against Liverpool. You put the ball in the box from across, he can pull off his man and he will score goals.
James, at the top there, it's getting a bit dark in your house, but we can still see you. Just Ulloa, Slimani, Okazaki. Technically, nobody's come in and offered anything for any of our players, have they, James?
No, not at all. For me, Slimani, if we can get the right balls into him, I think he'll 20 goals this season. Ulloa didn't look good at all at the weekend, and Okazaki is the same. However, I do know that Okazaki sells thousands of shirts abroad for us, so that's always a reason to keep someone. But for me, Slimani will score goals this season. The problem you've got is, do you whip the balls into him, or do you put it on the deck for Vardy to run at?
Yeah, exactly. It's two very different styles, and you could argue that they complement each other. As in, you can put it on the deck for some and put it over the top. But I think Slimani needs a cracking ball in, which Albrighton is like the best deliverer of the ball since Steve Guppy for Leicester. So we've got the ingredients there, but we don't seem to play that way, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, if you look back in the day when we played under O'Neill, it was 3-5-2 or 5-3-2, whatever you want to go with, the wing backs. At the weekend, Wolves played a 3-4-3, I think, and they caused a lot of problems against us. Maybe we've got to look at changing formations to suit the players we've got in the team. We've got good cross of the balls, we've got a good midfield, and we've got a sort of half decent back three, who are aging, but probably can do a job for one more season before we have to go and sign a few more players. But like I said, you've got to put the ball in a box for a big man. And going back to what Jamie says, teams have worked it out. We can't just play the ball in behind for Vardy to run onto. We've got to be more clever. If we're going to play those balls into midfield, you've got to slip it in between the right back and centre half and look for Vardy in that kind of option, or a knockdown for the Bournemouth at home last season. Slimani knocked it down, Vardy taps it in. Okay,
before we come to the final bits, and James, you're going to Burton tomorrow night, so I'm going to come to you shortly. I'm just, as ever, yes, here's the plugging bit. I feel like Wayne's World whenever I do this, for any of you old enough to remember it, but time for you to win 2 pizzas. All you got to do is guess. There's a Leicester City player hiding in this box. I'll give you a little, but hopefully you didn't see him then. Get in the comments below. Let us know which current player out of the current squad is in the Peter's Pizzas pizza box. I'll give that away at the end of this in about 5 minutes. We're just going to finish off with James and Tom both talking about tomorrow's match and Friday's match. James, you're going to Burton tomorrow night. What are your thoughts? What sort of team do you think he's going to play? Do we need a big win?
I'm not sure. I think tomorrow we need to play a formation that we are going to use going forward. All the pre-seasons we seem to have played different formations, and I'm not sure which one our best one is. I don't want to keep trying formations and first game of the season go straight back to 4-4-2. So I think tomorrow is a big game for us, but then not best. And it could be a game to get everyone's confidence up. I know it's all about fitness and trying out formations, but go out there and give the strikers some confidence.
Tom, what do you think for tomorrow?
I've said it all pre-season. I don't see where the goals are coming from. So tomorrow is a great opportunity to go and score some goals, because strikers breed off confidence. And if, like the other night, Leonardo should have scored from 4 yards out, he misses. Musa runs through clear and goal. Yes, he's hit it back and Riyadh scored, but for me, he should have been scoring one-on-one with the goalkeeper. The money we're paid from him, you've got to do better there. And for me, this pre-season, we haven't looked like a threat on goal like we have. Okay, it's pre-season, it's about fitness, I accept that. But for me, goals for strikers is the main thing in pre-season for confidence.
Friday night, we've got Borussia Mönchengladbach at the King Power. not exactly the biggest glamour tie, but it could be. It's a good workout. They're a good German team. I think the West Stand is open and a little bit of the family stand. Again, is it a bit of a funny pre-season? The Asian Cup. I think I like the idea of Wolves and MK Dons and Luton and Burton. They're all local. It doesn't take as long to get there. It gives the lads a good workout. I wouldn't say the results have been. I don't think the results matter in pre-season, although it is nice to get some. But the Borussia match on Friday just doesn't seem to have set fans sparkling, James.
No, and I remember we played them in pre-season many years ago, and back then they were a quite good European team, and it brought the crowds in. Yeah. Whereas this time, to say there's only one stand open. Remember going down watching Real Madrid down there, and it was packed down there. I think the home tie is supposed to try and get a big draw to get all the fans down there and excited, but it doesn't seem to have done that at all.
Tom, again, I would agree with what James has said there. I noticed as well that there wasn't the biggest crowd at the Wolves v Leicester game, and I sort of thought Leicester champions, not that long ago, would have been a decent draw at Wolves. But
I mean, going back to the home tie, I mean, like James just said, I mean, you got to look at it and go, we've played in the last year, we've played some massive ties at this football club. Seville at home in the Champions League, Atletico Madrid at home in the Champions League. Then you played Barcelona, Real Madrid, Barcelona twice really down at the club. Athletic Bilbao, I think when the stadium opened the first game of the season. Fans want to see a big club on if you're going to have a home time. For me, I wouldn't have had a home game this season. I basically would have just gone with another away game before the season started somewhere, even if it is a German team away, and just not done it. In my view, just because I think we ain't not going to get anything out of playing at home just before the season starts, really.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? I'm just plugging this pizza box because I don't think anybody's got it right yet. It's a current Leicester player in there. Don't want to give it away, but...
Chilwell.
No, Tom, good guess. Good guess. James, do you want to guess who's in the pizza box?
Simpson.
No, you're both wrong. I could be really cross with you. I'm trying to give you a little clue there. That was a rubbish clue. I don't know. He went on Las Vegas to his stag do, and there was a very funny video there. Some fans sent us in with him, but don't say it, Tom. Do you know who it is, though?
I've got enough feeling I might know who it is.
It's a lovely guy. Another clue for you, for anybody watching, which player is in the Pizzas box. I think he holds quite a nice little title, which is Leicester's first ever player to score in Europe. That should have given it away.
Someone's already said it, Phil.
Somebody said it, right. I'm gonna finish off now. I'm gonna thank James at the top in darkness. Somebody said put 50p in the meter. Look forward. Have a good night tomorrow night, and keep us informed. Thanks for joining us, James.
No problem.
Tom, as ever, thanks for joining us.
Cheers, chaps.
We'll see you guys soon. I'm gonna just finish this off. Read the last few comments out. Pick from people. Jamie Dixon says, is it Ben Hamer in the pizza? No. Lorraine Burrows says, Danny Drinkwater. Lee Clark says, Casper. Curtis Holloway says, SK1 is open. I didn't know that for Friday. Okay. Maybe tickets are slowly picking up. Jamie Dixon says, is it a Bora pizza? Peter Mohan isn't guessing. He's saying it's the worst pre-season for a long time. Joanne Astley says, it's always the case with City. It's that last touch. Just doesn't go into the goal. Phil Creed says Iniacho Saga is a joke. Matthew Lippert says Fuchs Pizza. No. Jamie Preston says, do we need a big club friendly? I think that's what they think Borussia is, Jamie. Really a few more out. Ash Menton says it's Mendy. Lorraine Burrows says it's Vardy. Jamie Dixon says it's Mark or Brighton. And Jamie Dixon, you are absolutely right. Here we go. There he is. Mark or Brighton. So, who won that? Jamie Dixon. I don't know if Jamie Dixon, you've won a pizza before. Really don't know that, but well done. I'm just typing it in so that I don't forget. Jamie Dixon, you win pizza. Don't forget, if you want to enter into the ADT competition, again, you can head over to their page. You can win this signed basketball from the Leicester Riders, the treble-winning team last season. I've got no idea what that's worth, but that's got to be worth, I don't know, 100, 200 quid. Giving that away on the ADT site, and put your comments in there. How many balls you thought were in the back of an ADT taxi? You can have a guess. This is the first time we've done Fanzone. It's had a few issues. Apologies for that. It'll get better. Thanks to Jamie. Thanks to Tom for putting up with me. Thank you everybody else for watching, liking and sharing the video. Keep it 100%. We'll try and give you more stuff. It's not always brilliant. Some of it's hokey pokey, but we love doing it. We're all Leicester fans. See you next Monday at 8:30 if we don't see you before. Cheers.